I'm Brigida Fifield.
I'm Tim Fifield, or Timothy Fifield.
We have 3 kids. Tim was born with microtia, so he just has a little ear on his left side. And he doesn't have an ear canal or an eardrum or anything like that. So when our first child was born, they took her to the warmer, and the first thing Tim said was, "Does she have an ear?"
She had my ear, yeah. She had my ear, and they're like, no, she's fine. I'm like, oh, okay.
And then a couple years later, our second was born, and he's, "Oh, does he have a little ear?" No, this one's fine too. So then our third one, he's like, "Oh, does he have my ear?" And they're like, "Yeah." Yeah, he actually does. And we're like, "Oh."
What do you mean he does have my ear? Like, what are you talking about? I feel like I pushed the nurse a little bit out of the side as she was doing the assessment, and I was like, I had to look for myself. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a little ear. And growing up, I was always told that it was just I laid on a bone wrong in the womb, and so it just developed wrong. Or there was an instance where my mom had to take a medication, and part of the side effect was a birth defect, and so it was that. And so my whole life growing up, I had no idea what it was called. All I knew was just my little ear, and that's all it was. And so I'd make up stories on how I lost it to different people I met. But yeah, as soon as Alistair was born, I was like, oh my gosh, is this genetic? Is this my thing? Like, none of my siblings have it, none of my siblings' kids have it, no record anywhere of any family history has anyone in our family have microtia or a little ear. Nothing that was recorded ever. And so I was the first, and now he's the second. And so it's kind of interesting. A lot of emotions that day is.
But Tim was so proud.
I was.
Like when when we had our Alistair's like photography, like for his newborn session, Tim just specifically requested to have a mini session, which is him and Alistair, to show like their ears and how, because they have opposite ears. So Tim's little ear is his left and Alistair's little ears are right. So when they look at each other, you can see both the ears on that side. So we have lots of special pictures of them with their little ears.
Yeah. I remember as soon as he was born and finding out, and then having all the assessments done, he got cleaned up and we were holding him. I looked at him and I was like, all right, I need to know now. What's the truth? What is the truth? So I called my dad right up and I was like, okay, spill the beans. Why do I have a little ear? And there he told me it's called microtia. You don't have an ear canal, you don't have an eardrum, you don't have the little bone that sends it from the eardrum to your cochlea. So I'm still learning stuff. 30 years later, I'm learning about my own ear now that he's born, so it's kind of a blessing that way.
Yeah.
But he just explained that I only have 1.5, so like the seashell, it spirals 3 times, I only have 1.5 of the spirals. And I still have the, we call it the equilibrium, but that's not the correct terminology.
The semicircular canals.
Yeah, but equilibrium is a little bit easier to say.
Is it?
Sometimes. So I'm always on balance, and that was one of my biggest fears with Alistair, was if he had that, because if he didn't, he would be always off balance, and he'd have to be on medication for that. But luckily, he's okay that way.
We just feel like we've had a tremendous amount of support from everybody. Like from the moment we got home from the hospital, we had people calling saying, "We heard your son, has a hearing loss, and here's all this information about the infant toddler program and 2 ears to learn," where they believe that 2 ears is best, and that the sooner that we can get him aided with that other side, the better. And we never even thought about hearing aids for him because Tim never had anything and he was fine. And then we learned that you're given 2 ears for a reason, and there's a reason why that he needs that hearing aid. And so we started the process of getting him the hearing aid. And by the time he was 4 months old, he got a Baja with the cute little headbands, and he's been wearing it ever since. And we've had so much support just from the community and from other places that have outreached to us that we never even knew existed. And then the infant toddler program comes into our home, and it's still kind of a struggle because Alistair's a baby and he likes to just pop it off and eat it pretty regularly. But his siblings are good about, he's eating his hearing aid. And they just take it and put it back on.
So right now it's not too much of a, I feel it's not too much of a struggle yet, because he's still a baby, you know, he's just going to learn natural things that he's supposed to learn. But as he gets older, when he gets to school, then that's when I'll be a little bit more concerned about his learning abilities. Like right now, everyone says he's pretty much on track. He's making good noises, copying sounds. So to me, it's like, oh, he's just like all of our other kids. You know, he doesn't have a hearing loss. He's like all of our other kids. But then I have to think back to when I was in school and how much of a struggle that was. I was in different reading programs. I was in some speech programs, but they didn't feel like I needed to be there. So they kind of just helped whatever they could. And then they're like, all right, we really think you're fine.
And other things, like, because Tim didn't wear anything, most people who know Tim don't even know that he has a little ear unless he brings it up. Right. But Alistair's is obvious because he wears this flashy headband full of colors and he wears a hearing aid, so it's really obvious that he has that. And so we just don't know what to do. Like, in the future, there's so many options for him, whether we get surgery for him or plastic surgery to actually make him an ear, or if he wants to wear a headband his whole life, which I doubt it. But
yeah, we do the bone implants and little stubs and stuff.
Yeah, so who knows what the future holds there. But
I'm glad that I am here. I get to be the advocate for him. You know, when school starts, I get to be the parent that goes, all right, this is what's happening, this is what's going to happen, and this is how we're going to help my son. Because I've been through this, and I know what we need to do to help him progress, because I've lived it. And so it's kind of a blessing that way. He won't be alone. He won't be alone in this world because he's got his dad. So I'd do anything to help him achieve where he needs to be in life. So I'm excited. I want to see what the future holds for hearing aids. I want to see how the technology and what we can do to contribute to that, moving forward for other kids in the future for that technology. So I'm glad we're here.
Like, I think we thought originally, like, we know what we're doing, and then we came to this retreat and we're like, we don't know anything.
I'm still learning stuff.
Yeah. So it's been amazing.